Deliveries incendiaries. We facilitate it. You mutilate it. What can I do for you?
I emailed a few days ago about a refund.
Name, please?
Charles Fort.
I'm not seeing the problem, sir.
There's an image attached. Look at it.
Oh, that is unacceptable, but what can we do about that man's finger?
I'm talking about the explosion. A grenade of this size should have a bigger blast radius.
Oh, I just noticed that, and I agree. A refund will be in the mail. But is that a crazy straw?
No.
Is it a PVC pipe?
No.
Is it a cannoli?
No! Quit making fun of my villains! Okay, people, welcome back to another Marvel Legends Now, I know these are a bit old. These are a bit outdated. You've probably seen a lot of reviews on these, but they're new to me. Well, okay. Some of them I've had for a while. They've been in a pile, I just haven't had a chance to open them yet. Like this Bucky cap that was exclusive to somewhere, but I got it at Ollie's. Then this Avengers Quicksilver I got from Walmart. I do believe this Captain America was from Target. And then Big Bad Toy Store was kind enough to send the Punisher War Journal and the Crystal and Lockjaw 2-packs out. When they first released, they weren't on my priority list. I had a good Punisher and I had a good Lockjaw. So I passed on by. But you know how priorities go, they can change, especially when there's a lull in buying. When you haven't gotten anything in a while and you're like, oh, I sure would like some plastic. What really ended up getting me was that Bushwacker and Crystal are new unique characters for my display. I don't have these in any form or fashion. I think I picked up a Hellcat to customize into Crystal at some point, but I never did, especially after they announced it. It's hard for me to get the juices flowing if there's an official release out there. I think, well, the time spent painting, while fun, I could just buy it, put it on the shelf, play with it, pose it, do whatever. So I'll end up with another big doggy and another Punisher, but the more I look at this, the more I do not regret my decisions. But we'll start with something older like Bucky Barnes' Captain America. While I don't have a lot of connection to this costume, I've always liked the design of it. The glossy black boots, the semi-glossy black costume for the lower half, and then most of the arms, the red gloves, the red and silver abs that matches the sculpted star on the chest, the painted on stars on the shoulders, the sculpted star on the back, the head wings, and the A on the forehead. But I think my favorite's that metallic blue just glistening in the light. It's a jarring transition. A lot of it looks like a stealth costume, but then you get up here and it's unmistakably the stars and stripes. It looks fantastic. This is built on the Vulcan body for the most part. Same shoulders, same arms. You can see the cuts at the forearms. Same crotch, same legs down to the top of the boots. Caps are obviously different. But then, like I mentioned, the sculpted star on the front and back means the torso's been modified. And then, of course, there's that head. It kind of has an off-roundness to it, like it's narrow, but I almost feel like that's this costume. Another big reason I like this figure is the first Hasbro Marvel Legends Bucky cap. This was significant. This kind of heralded in a new age of Marvel Legends. And then it was Vulcan that finally took this Bucky cap's place because they reused the hell out of this thing. So getting a new Bucky cap on that Vulcan body, it feels like the next step. Hell, this one was still on the shelf. I just had it there just out of pure nostalgia because when I first got this, I put it on the desk in front of me and just stared for a while, just taking it in. It was a game changer. A lot of people hate it now because of all the reuse it's been through, and to the point where it was like the mold's falling apart. Oh, the legs are floppy because it used the old Bucky cap body. And I'm sure they're going to do the same with new base bodies. That's what they do. Between these two, this one's going on the shelf. This one will go in a tub of fame. My Hall of Fame is a tub. Just look at the size difference, the size creep over the years. It's the same character, same costume, same layout, same pouches. Holster on this side, knife sheath on this side. There's the canteen in the back. There's 2 pockets. Just everything's the same, but improved. And I've talked too long about a 10, 11, 12-year-old figure. It's getting up there, huh? So I'm going to put that up. Get back to the new figure. Pretty standard articulation. There's a dumbbell at the neck. Up isn't great. Down is okay. Very nice tilt though, and then side to side. Just like Vulcan, the butterfly joint does not come forward as much as it probably should, and then back to about right there. Bicep swivel, double elbow, swivel at the wrist with a hinge up and down. Ab crunch, forward, back, and then a cut at the waist, rotates, but the belt does get in the way a bit. Kick forward, kick back, kick out with a swivel at the thigh. There is a double knee that kicks his own canteen. Swivel at the boot, hinge back, hinge forward, front-facing pin for rocker. For accessories, there is this pistol with a suppressor on the front of some kind. I'm going to put that right here in the holster. It'll stick down through a little bit, but not much. Same thing with the knife. I do believe we've seen that before. That'll go over here in the sheath. Out of the package, there's a trigger finger right and a grip left, and you can swap those out with 2 fists. Then, of course, there's a shield, and this is a little bigger than what we see with a lot of other Captain Americas. Just pulling random ones out of the bag, here's one I think came with a lot of older caps. Here's a flatter one with the edges sculpted on that, again, isn't quite as big. It's even a little bigger than the MCU Captain America's. It is very close to the old face-off cap shield, which is flat, but it has the rubber straps on the inside, so I've been using it on this Captain America. I don't mind swirly twirly plastic, and for the most part, this looks good because of the shininess, but then there's these twirls right there and right there, and it makes it feel kind of damaged. Well, I guess I've got some waviness here and here too. On the back, there is the peg that flips to a clip. You can plug it into the back, which looks pretty good. Or you can put that peg into his hand and you can get a little more dynamic with it. Just flip it and clip it. I'm usually worried about that stressing, but it didn't feel too tight when it went on the wrist right there. So, maybe I'll leave it like that. Or he can run and gun and shield himself. Oh, but neutral position looks just as good. Next up, let's crack open Quicksilver. If you have the first Quicksilver, you know exactly what to expect here, at least from the neck down. It's the same body, which is usually referred to as the Sunfire body, but we've seen it on a lot of Spider-Mans too. And I don't mind this. It's thin, but it's also muscular. My biggie is the duck feet. If you have all the swivels in the correct position where the muscles line up and then the boot sculpt isn't off from that, the feet turn to the inside. It's a little bit distracting. At first I thought the legs were different because on the blue one I've had for a while, the toes are pointing forward and the thighs look a little thicker. But then I realized, no, I've got them turned out slightly where the muscles are broken. And if you turn them back and turn that and that, same thing. I don't think I have a preference as far as Quicksilver costumes go. I like the blue, I like the green, but in action figure form, or at least these two, I think I like the green better. It's a little more matte. It doesn't reflect as much light, plus the lightning bolt on the belt and the chest is much cleaner. There's less zags to it, so I guess there's less to mess up. I would have thought I'd like the pearlescent white a little better too, but no, I like the clean bright white on the green one. But like I said, they're the same from the neck down. Head-wise, I can't compare. I swapped a custom casting cave head onto this a long time ago, and I spent all day looking for the original, can't find it. But the problem with the original was that it didn't have the stringy hair up front, which I think is a signature look for Pietro. And that's what the casting cave head brought, a little bit of flair up here on top, along with that Jim Lee look to the face. And the Green Avengers costume brought that same heat. This is very, very nice. I love these strands sticking up. They're rubbery plastic. There's a wash to the whitish gray hair. And then he's just got that cocky look to his face, that slight smirk. And the eyebrow, just, oh, that is Quicksilver. This is staying on my evil Quicksilver, but I have absolutely no problem with this. Even when he was a good guy, he was an asshole, so this fits. We've seen the articulation on this 100 times. There's a hinge up at the top with a ball. There are butterfly shoulders going back and forth. There's an ab crunch. The leg goes up and out. The double knee goes, oh, dang, it goes all the way. Double elbow goes up pretty nice. I will say that the muscles there are kind of wonky, but it works. For accessories, there are some clawed tensed hands, and then there are 2 fists. Kind of wish it had flat palm hands like the picture on the package. More running, you know. What I like to do with Quicksilver's in neutral position is push the shoulders back. It makes it feel like he's tensed up a little bit, like he's ready to run at any second. But because of the neck hinge coming all the way up and the ab crunch, yeah, the running poses are pretty cool too. Now I think I want to go back to a little more Captain America action. Yeah, it's been in the pile for a little bit, but the movie hype had me ready to open it up, so I'm glad to finally crack it open. Especially since I don't think I have a comic book Sam as Captain America. I've always liked this white up here. It makes it his own, because you look at it like this, and you think, oh, that's Steve Rogers. Nope, that's Sam Wilson. But that may be because this reuses the arms and legs from this Captain America. I didn't know that. The crotch, the legs, the knee pads, the boots, the biceps, the forearms, the gloves, that's all from Steve. So does that make this comic inaccurate? This is one of those ignorance is bliss moments because I don't know. But I like the look of the figure in the window of the package when I saw it at the store, so I grabbed it. And now that I have it here, I'm like, this is badass. I have this Captain America and I like the design of it, but I have no idea of the source. I don't know where this costume comes from. So for me, it looks just as good on Sam, especially since the whole torso is resculpted. It has Wilson's star and stripes and straps going up over the shoulders. Plus they added some wrinkles to the abs while doling down that red. That shiny, a minute ago it was like, Bucky cap, so shiny, looks so good. But here it's a little distracting because the pants are shiny too, so you don't know what's supposed to be metal and what's supposed to be cloth. Here, there's no mistake about it. The matte of the costume is nice. I like it. I realize I didn't give a close-up of the shoulders. Those are different too. Then they changed the belt from this clasp with pouches around the side to this more falcon-looking buckle and pouches going around. And then there's the head, looking tough as all hell. I wish the goggles were translucent so you could see eyes under there, but then again, this is very comic booky. It's just red lenses. Also like how the costume coming up to here doesn't look as immobilizing as the Disney Plus series version. And that thinning slightly right there adds to the broad shoulderness, the bulkiness look up top. And yeah, he can bring it. I should have known it was reuse. Have pins at the elbows and knees. That's always a sure sign. Articulation, flying character should always have a hinge up top. I like that because it allows for more up, more down, but not much tilt. That's some side to side though. Shoulder, hinge, bicep swivel, double elbow. How far is that coming? About right there. Swivel, hinge. The stripes are perfect for hiding the ab crunch, and then the blue kick down right here isn't a separate piece. It just goes along with it. Kind of gets in the way of the ab crunch. Goes further back. Swivel at the waist above the belt. Kick forward, kick back, kick out. So that's it. Swivel at the thigh. Double knee. Okay. Bing. Swivel at the boot, hinge back, hinge forward, and then front-facing pin for rocker. For accessories in the package, there's a right fist and a left grip hand, and then you can swap in a right grip hand and a splayed-out left hand. Have the specific Sam shield, and again, it's a lot bigger than older Captain America shields. In fact, I think it's the same shield as Bucky caps. It even has the clip and the peg on the back. That was unintentional. I did not plan to open these at the same time. It just worked out that way. Again, you can plug the shield into the back if you want, or you can just snap it onto his wrist. The wings were what caught my eye though, because even in the package, I could see that they were just one piece, kind of curved forward. And I guess if you wanted to, you can hinge these down and plug this in the back if you want the no wing look, but still want the backpack back there. But I'm gonna hinge those back up. Well, I'm gonna go all the way up and then plug the wings on. That is very tight, which I am okay with. I don't want wings falling off in the middle of the night. Not a bad wingspan, and while I would have liked more articulation here, I guess this does its job for the most part. Like I showed, they swivel all the way up, swivel down, and then there's a hinge right there that you can bring forward. That's about as far as you can go. Actually, that was a little too far. You go forward all the way, and it pulls it out of the hinge. Back goes to about right there. That looks pretty sweet. I wish there was a hole in the back of this to hang the shield. Not near as many options as the wings I just got with the Brave New World Captain America, because there's swivel up and down, or well, hinge up and down. Then there's hinge in and out here, here, and here. And not quite the wingspan, but again, this is comic book Captain America. Ooh. There's also something very satisfying about that too, even though it takes up a hell of a lot of real estate. It's time to take a look at Punisher's War Journal. Okay, that is just disturbing. There's so many jokes to be made. I mean, his name is Bushwacker, and he comes with this big, hard, throbbing left arm. I get it. He has arms that turn into shooty weapons. If I remember right, didn't he have something that looked more like a gun? I mean, like the shape of the stock would stick out of the back of his arm or something, but it was all flesh colored? Or was that a dream I had one time? Despite all that, this still looks like a crazy 90s Punisher villain. You have the blonde buzz cut with the braided rat tail sticking out, some disfigurement to the right side of the face running down the neck, crazed look to the face, big collared bright blue sleeveless shirt. I have no idea where the black collar originates from. Maybe it's just a liner for the blue shirt, but then he's wearing a white shirt under that. Wrinkles and the seam running down the middle. I almost thought it was a zipper. And it may be. Maybe it's flapped under there. And then there's these little silver dots for the buttons. Silver on the buckle, going down to some jeans with a denim texture to them, coming all the way down to the cuffs and then the black boots. Oddly enough, this Punisher villain is mostly reuse of a previous Punisher. I believe the crotch and legs were originally Netflix Luke Cage, but same boots, same jeans, same arms with the muscles, and then this half sleeve look up here on the shoulder. Same fingerless gloves without the flesh showing through. Different torso, different head. What do we have up top? Okay, hinge with a ball. With that collar, though, that's about as far as it goes back. Nice bearing of chin, though. Little bit of tilt. Looking for Frank. Pin out to the arm, rotates around. Hinge, swivel, double elbow, goes most of the way. Swivel at the wrist with a hinge up and down. Runchticles, not bad at all. Goes back, and then a swivel at the waist. Kick up, kick back, kick out. Swivel at the thigh, double knee. Oh, most of the way, all the way. Hinge at the ankle, runs into the pants cuff. Goes that far back, that far forward, and then front-facing pin for rocker. For accessories out of the package, he has a right trigger finger hand and then a veiny left 5-barrel weapon thing. You can pop that off to reveal a regular arm underneath, and down in there, there's the wrist peg. You can plug in the left trigger finger hand. The right pops off too, and you can replace it with this finger banging gun. This finger blaster. This index barrel. I drink your milkshake. I drink it up. I kind of like this a little better than the dirt dauber arm. It's less conspicuous, maybe, but doesn't look near as intimidating. You see this coming at you and you may go, huh, I wonder what this guy wants. You see this coming at you and you think, I need to hide and call the police, or pull out the video camera. Or you can just have him holding a gun, which we'll look at after we take a gander at this Punisher, and this looks sleek as all hell. I'm a big classic white glove, white boot kind of guy, but there's no denying that an all-black suit with the skull staring out at you is more than cool. I have an overlay of crisscross shoulder straps coming around to the front and these painted shotgun shells, which is awesome. Just that little hint of red and gold sticking out of the black and white. Pouches around the waist that probably hold ammo and more ammo and some ammo. And then this one's for chewing gum. Overlay thigh straps holding on a holster. And then like Vulcan, there is a cut in the forearm, I guess for future reuse in case other characters have different sorts of gloves, maybe? And I say like Vulcan, but this is an all new body. About the same height, but it is bulkier. There's more mass to the shoulders and the arms and the chest and the legs. Boots are very, very similar to what we saw with previous Punishers, but there's not as much wrinkle work on the toes. It's very similar. That cut is higher than the old one. Much better definition too. This is the vintage carded one, and as far as costumes go, this is my favorite. But because of how this one looks overall, well, okay, I will point out one thing. That skull is just classic. This one, with the straight bottom instead of that angry look, it almost looks like it's grinning. I mean, there's no smile to the teeth or anything, but it looks like it has cheeks that are pushing the eyes up. You know, like smile. Did I just explain a smile? What kind of review is this? I usually like when the teeth of the skull is attached to the belt, like pouches or extra ammo or something, but these come really high up. These come up halfway, and then the teeth are painted on the skull underneath. And why that makes a difference here is because new figure, new articulation scheme. There's actually a floating joint mid-torso, and then there is a hinge going down towards the waist. So when you crunch, that kind of gets in the way. You can get it jammed on the top of the belt. You got to kind of kick back and then go behind it. Then when you arc back, the teeth disappear. I doubt I'll ever pose them like this, but you know what I mean. I like the chips out of the teeth, but then they tried to simulate that up on the chest, and at first I thought paint splatter, or they missed in places. It's showing through, but I do think that it's supposed to be that way. Then you do this, and it brings it all into perspective. The sleek blackness of the whole costume, that skull peering out, Frank's head. Okay, this is good. I forgot to zoom in on Frank's head. Look at that gruff bastard with the 5 o'clock shadow, just angry all the time. I even like the white headband. It works really well with his jet black hair. It brings the whole color scheme up top? Well, again, there's a hinge at the top of the neck going into a ball. Sometimes it's dumbbell, sometimes it's not. We've had a lot more hinges today. That just means he can look way up and can bury his chin. Tilt suffers though when it's not dumbbell. I heard somebody was whacking bushes. There is a super nice butterfly joint hidden by those straps. Comes forward, goes way back. Pin at the shoulder, rotates around, hinges up to there, bicep swivel, double elbow, swivel at the wrist with a hinge up and down for a trigger finger hand. Dumbbell joint mid-torso, hinge down low. Again, got to kick back behind the belt, crunches to there, back, tilt, rotation. Ball coming out to the hip, kicks forward, kicks back, kicks out. That's probably winner for the day, huh? Swivel at the thigh, double knee. Oh, punishes that ass. Swivel at the boot. Hinge at the ankle, goes back, goes forward, front-facing pin for rocker. We looked at the mean-faced headband, Frank. You can pop that off. Then you can pop on the screaming mid-battle, Frank. And this looks good. I can't deny that, but screaming heads are just not my thing, unless that's their power set, or it's showing fangs or something. This is just more like, war! This figure, for me, will forever have this head sculpt on it. Out of the package, there's a trigger finger right hand and a splayed out left. There's a trigger finger left and a 2-finger pointing right. Then there's 2 fists. It's Punisher, so you know he's bringing the firepower. There's this rifle with a grenade launcher under it. There's this looking all compact. I do believe this is an Uzi. And then there's this pistol. That's automatically going into this holster because that's what it was made for. I think I'll have him holding the Uzi just because. You know what? To hell with it. I'm gonna have him dual wielding and put this in the other trigger finger hand. There's also a grenade. That strap is tight as hell, but I guess, I don't know. That just looks like it sticks way too far out, doesn't it? Maybe back here, just as a backup to have it stored away. But if you want to throw the grenade, there's also this explosion effect, which we don't see a lot. It's translucent orange, has some white or kind of orangey cream looking overspray on this side. Even has some shrapnel flying out of it that's painted at the end of these spines sticking out. Not the biggest of explosions, but hey, it's a small contained explosion. Then you can mix and match guns between Bushwacker and Punisher if you want. It works either way. I'm so confused at what he wants to do. Then finally, let's see how much of a good boy Lockjaw is with the Inhumans 2-pack. Like I mentioned, Crystal was my main reason to get this set because I have the Mezco 1/12 Collective Lockjaw. We'll get to that in a minute. When I was reading comics, she was always popping up, whether it be Inhumans or Fantastic Four. Plus, I always liked the yellow and black Charlie Brown color scheme. That and her hair design that made her Crystal. Without that, it's almost like, hey, is that Mary Jane? Nope, that's Crystal. She's got the line with the 2 zeros in the back. For some reason, I thought it would be sculpted in there, though. I always thought of it as maybe smooth, like something over her hair, but I guess it's dyed in there, maybe. I don't have a problem with that. It's just something that caught me off guard when I opened this. And hey, while we're zoomed really far into the face, I really like the paints here. There's a cheerfulness. The whites of the eyes is very distinct. It makes the blue eyes bluer, and then the eyeshadow around it, and the eyelashes, the eyebrows, the lips, it all works. And then the black parts on the costume is painted very clean. Up here around the neck, at the top of the gloves, it comes out, kicks up. At the top of the legs, where it kind of transitions from hip to leg, and then down at the boots, same thing. It kicks up on the front. Surprised me that the belt was sculpted on. I could have swore it was painted, but then I ran my fingernail across it and it snags. So that means that's a new core piece. I think the rest of it is just your standard Marvel Legends female body at this point. Pinless elbows, pinless knees. There is the floating torso, double. Just regular figure, but it's a regular Crystal figure. And even looking at it in this camera, in the viewfinder, man, she stands out. You put her on the shelf with Inhumans, Fantastic Four, you're gonna be able to find her no problem. So of course I have the Mezco 1/12 Collective Black Bolt because it just works so much better. I love the cloth wings and how they come out when you lift the arm, but they go away when you drop it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. And since it's a basic female body, there's a hinge at the top of the neck with a ball, but because of all that hair coming down, there is no looking up. Hair also comes to the front, so down isn't great either. Little tilt to the left, then really gets in the way of left and right. It's definitely more right than left. Pin out to the arm, hinge, bicep swivel, double elbow, all the way up, can touch her own shoulder. Swivel at the wrist, hinge in and out. Dumbbell mid-torso, a little crunch, a little back, tilt, rotation. Kicks front, back, out, swivel at the thigh. Double knee, oh yeah. Hinge at the angle, back, forward, front facing pin for rocker. For accessories out of the package, she has the standard magic power wielding female hands, and then she has 2 fists. Elemental powers means elemental power effects. You got some water, got some fire, and these both look good. There's a hoop on the bottom of each one, so you pop the hand off, thread the peg through that. Okay, I really like that. And that looks just as good. Hell, there's my display right there. For a more action-oriented head, you can swap out the cheerful neutral hair for this flowing in the wind and a more angry look. Oh, and that'll get you down looking at the flame if you want it. But you know me, it's hard to beat a good hair just laying naturally look. Then there's Lockjaw, and this is how he comes out of the package. So let's stick the front legs on. Behind the camera strength. Yeah, when I say behind the camera strength, this is what I look like. There's Lockjaw, and I will say it is one hefty chunk of plastic. The main body is solid, and it has the furry sculpt to it, wrinkling up to the neck, with some paint down low to lighten up the belly and chin, and the black ears, black eyes, black nose, dark brown. The inside of the mouth is an insert with the tongue sticking out and the pinkishness back there, but check out the teeth up here and behind. You can't see them most of the time unless you go up looking for them. Have the same furriness coming down, the black claws, the black paws, cute little tail back here. All in all, it looks good. It's a big dog. Not quite as big as how I usually think of Lockjaw, but not bad. It's still bigger than your average dog. Still good overall shape. I will say that this cut for the swappable mouthpiece is a little distracting once you see it. And it gaps slightly on this side. But we'll get to that in accessories, along with tuning forks, although I'd be hard pressed to swap this out. I love the Kirby crackle up here with the electric blue and the bright white on the end of the bubbles. Then we get to the articulation, and that's where it's a bit restrictive. Okay, there is a dumbbell at the neck, so you can go side to side and then up and down. That also has some rotation to it. Ball coming out of the torso into the leg rotates all the way around, and then there is some twist along with some out and in. But then there's nothing until you hit the ankle, where you can hinge back, hinge forward, and then forward facing pin for rocker. Same thing at the back leg. Rotation all the way around, some twist, some in, some out, and then the paw down at the bottom with the hinge, forward, back, rotate. Then there's a hinge and swivel at the tail. Forward, rotates, or wags, I guess you would call it, and then hinge back. Now that's usable, but it feels very basic, especially after getting this recently. Now understand, this is a Build-A-Figure. The cost was spread out over 6 or 7 figures. I can't even remember that wave. This is one price, one go, and like I said, it's very solid. It's a chunk of plastic. Still though, this will spoil you with all the extra movement, the extra joints. It makes me wish this was as mobile. Then again, we're gonna bring in the Mezco 1/12 Collective Lockjaw, and you can see there's quite a size difference here. In fact, it's so heavy, I'm just dropping it. This is my mental image of Lockjaw, and that was kind of realized perfectly in plastic form, at least for me. It's just quite a bit heftier. But when it comes down to it, there's a dumbbell at the neck that gets around. There is the same out and forward of the leg. No ankles, no tail, but there is a mid-torso joint that gets you this much movement, but some of this for a little bit of sit-down action. There is extra paint on the fur in the deep spots. That and the eyes are just lifelike. Well, they actually glow. I haven't turned this on in a long time, so let's see if this works. Ooh. Oh, and I forgot the tuning fork also lights up. So actually less articulated, but a light up feature and a more detailed sculpt. Pick your poison? I don't even know how much this goes for on the aftermarket. It's been so long. Plus there's options. For accessories, you can swap out this faceplate for a closed mouth, kind of meaner look Lockjaw. You can also pull out the tuning fork and replace it with a version that isn't electrified. And there is a little peg right there on the back. So you plug that in and boom. And then there's replaceable back legs. So instead of articulation, you swap this out for the bent legs. That's supposed to simulate sitting down. And this leg does it with the paw flat on the ground, but this one I can't seem to get to go all the way. When I do get it flat, it lifts the ass up off the ground, and I want him sitting. But then if you get the legs back into a proper dog sitting position, the head doesn't come down. He's just staring at the sky. It kind of works if you do this, and then this, like he's about to pounce. Who wants to play? How about this? I think that looks better with the legs splayed out, kind of like playful. He's ready to go fetch somebody. Oh, and you know the Kirby crackle is going back in. There's the peg goes on the back. So if you don't have the Mezco, this'll do ya. But it's kind of worse because Hasbro spoiled us with animals in Marvel Legends and G.I. Joe Classified series. If this had been up to par with those, ooh. So at the end of the day, I got to play. And that's a good day. Any day you get to play is a good day, right? And there's a whole lot of good here. I finished off with Lockjaw, and it's fine, I guess. But I have this, so I'm good. And I'm comparing the two. But if you're only into Marvel Legends, and you don't want this, because it was a 2-pack with that Black Bolt. And I like the Black Bolt too, but I know some people don't care for cloth. Soft good costumes. But I'm also going to bring this back into the picture too, because man, it's hard to go from this to that. Like I said, Lockjaw's fine. And that's what I'm focusing on because that's the one that I kind of stumbled on. I just kind of like, oh, okay. Meh. Because Quicksilver's definitely going in the Avengers display, and then Crystal will go wherever I find a place for her. I can't decide where to put her. I don't have a lot of Inhumans. I have the Fantastic Four. So we'll see. What it comes down to is we need more Inhumans. I love this Bucky cap simply because of the significance, and I really, really like this Captain America with the wings and all. Bushwacker's perfectly fine. It's a silly character with a shooty finger and a left penis arm. I'll probably display it like this. Punisher, though, kind of surprised me. I knew it was good, but this may be my Punisher until a better one comes along. It's a new body. It already has Punisher parts on it. You know they're going to re-release one with white gloves and boots. They have to. That's just mandatory. I tracked a few of these down, but again, special thanks to Big Bad Toy Store for the 2-packs. If you're interested, the links are in the description. Or if you just want to help me out, hey, click the link in the description. I think that may catch me up on Marvel Legends. At least the ones I have that I haven't opened. I'm sure there's something stalking around in a hidey hole or in a pile of doubles or something. Oh! I am one figure away from the Secret Wars wave. I'm waiting for my Captain America. Who knew that would be the hard one to get? Then hopefully after that, there'll be more releasing. I know they have release dates of summer, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of them pop up here in the next few weeks. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. More Marvel Legends. More the merrier. More the marvelous. I'm gonna go now. Bye.